It is a privilege to be able to be here for this glorious festival. And I was thinking, Prabhu mentioned how Mahaprabhu, he came here to take possession of this house. He claimed it as his own. Actually, everything is already the Lord's, right? And it is really his mercy if he comes in a manifest, straightforward way to announce, this is mine. Everything's already his, It is his grace if he will directly assert himself, that we are not blocking that, right? So, but then I was also thinking, really what we want is not only that he's taken possession of this abode, this wonderful abode, but that he will take possession of our hearts, That is really what is needed. Anarpita chirim chirat kurunaya vitirna kalo samarpayitam unutojvalarasam sabhakti shyam hari purutta sundara juti kadamba sandipita sada hirdaya kandares purutu vashachi nandana. This is the benediction of Srila Kaviraj Goswami. May this most glorious, resplendent, golden Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has come to give Anarpita what has never been given before, this most precious gift of divine love for Krishna, in the free mood of Vrindavan. May he sada hirdaya kandares purutu vashachi nandana. May he be manifest gloriously within your heart. May he take possession of your heart. So this is our prayer. And ultimately, Mahaprabhu, he is a playful Lord. I was also thinking like this. He likes to play. So we have to approach him, allow him to enter our hearts. We don't want to come here to this place like it's an institution, right? Or a place we go on the weekends, or this type of kind of ritualistic type of mood, right? But we want to come forward and give our hearts to the Lord in this intimate way. We want to give ourselves and see where he wants to take us. We want to surrender. He is about play. He is about beauty. He is about love. This place, there are so many ways in which we can engage with these types of, institutions. We can come here as a type of social environment, like a social club. We can meet many nice people, have many nice discussions. We can also have so much nice prasadam. No doubt everyone is eagerly looking forward to. And also another element here, there's a lot of philanthropic work going on. There's charity, there's distribution, prasad, free food prasad distribution that is going on. And many wonderful, pious persons are coming to assist with that, which is a very wonderful thing. But we also want to understand what is the specialty of this place. Why is this different from a common philanthropic place in the world, One of the prayers of the Braja Gopis, right, is Tavaka Tamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibirditam Kaumasapaham Shravana Mangalam Shrimaratatam Bhuvigrinanti De Bodhita Janaha. That those who are spreading this message of divinity, who are spreading this Krishna consciousness, they're Bodhita, they are the most generous, they're the most magnanimous, they're doing the greatest philanthropic work. And why is that? Because we are being given the gift of our eternal life. There is so much suffering in this world. We could sit here all day and discuss how many different types of suffering is going on in this world. But what is at the root of all of that? Ultimately, these are all temporary things which are at the root have the misconception of bodily identification. We have forgotten the true self, the Atma. So this is the gift of Mahaprabhu, of the Veda, that our eternal life. We are being given the gift of we want to begin to live our eternal lives. But that is also not enough. There's also more than that, right? Srila Sridhar Maharshi discusses how, the nature of the divine substance is three principal elements, right? Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Eternity, consciousness, and ultimately bliss. Joy, happiness, pleasure. And so he explains, simply eternity by itself, it does not have so much value. A stone can exist for so many ages of time, and what is really the value of that, you know? But when existence, eternal existence, is endowed with consciousness, then there's some meaning there. Then there's some significance to that, you know. But then consciousness itself consciousness by nature is always seeking after something. Consciousness in and of itself, it is a dry thing. You know. You can find many places in this world that they will advocate consciousness as the highest thing, you know. To exist in a plane of pure consciousness. To achieve moksha, you know, to be liberated from the entanglement of this karmic plane. You know. So they are advocating consciousness, but really we are not satisfied by that. You know, it ultimately becomes a dry thing. You know. So then ananda. So with consciousness we can search for what is our true need and true good, true necessity, true fulfillment. That is ananda. That is joy. That is happiness. That is pleasure. And that is, in the highest degree of that is found in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hema Ba Divya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Maha Prema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chanjaya Namo Namaste. No, he's all about that. You know, he is Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya. He is the embodiment of Ananda. He is the deity, he is the Vigraha, personification of Ananda, joy, happiness, and Leela, Leela-moy. He is full of play, divine pastimes. He is a playful Lord, he is a sweet Lord, he is a loving Lord. Hema Ba Divya Chai, beautiful golden Lord. Tasmai Maha Prema, and what is his gift? He is giving Maha Prema, divine love. You know, right? The Vedas, they are generally giving Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You know, they're giving benefit, they're giving advice in the line of duty or piety, wealth, pleasure within this world, the sensual plane, and ultimately moksha, liberation. But all of these things are really relevant within the context of a soul who is within this world, right? For someone who's in a bodily condition, then these things mean something, right? Ordinary duty, wealth means something. You need money, right? If you're in this world, you need money. So it is easy to appreciate that, you know. And pleasure, everybody wants pleasure. Our money is used for pleasure. That is the purpose, right? And then moksha. Naturally, you've had your money, right? You've enjoyed, right? And then you suffer, right? And then what do you want after that? You want moksha. Then you want liberation. I just want out, you know. I want to be out of this game altogether, right? So all of these things, they're only relevant when you're in this world. But what about when you're beyond this world? You know, what is the life of a normal soul? These things, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, they mean something if you're an abnormal soul. if you're in a conditioned position in this world. But what about when you're a normal soul? You're a healthy soul. You know, what are you going to the soul? You know, Brahma Bhuta, Prasanatmana, Shochati, Nakangshati, the liberated soul, the Brahma Bhuta doesn't need anything from this world. The spirit, the Atma doesn't need money, doesn't need pleasure. These are all things to do with the bodily plane. I am spirit. What will I do with these things? So then what is the search? What is the necessity of the liberated soul? This is what Krishna consciousness is giving. This is the gift of Bhagavatam. This is the gift of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You know? And this is why it is also difficult, you know, for the general persons to understand this, because what this gift is so far beyond where we are at present. It doesn't have any relevance to where we are at present. You know? So it is a difficult thing for the common person, the general person, to understand. But if we think it through in a rational way, you know, it makes perfect sense. So this is the great gift. What is that need? What is the real need? What is the gain of the soul in its liberated condition? Prema, divine love. So this is the gift of Sri Chaitanya. Pancham Purushartha, the fifth goal of life. You know, the real goal of life. What is the real need of the normal, healthy, wholesome soul? This is what is being given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our gurus. You know. So we want to try to interface, try to connect these types of ideals. We want to try to remember this, cultivate that, culture that. What is really the significance of such a place? Why was this temple opened? And how can our hearts, approach, be accepted by the Lord, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And how can we enter into His divine, beautiful, joyful, playful world of divine service and dedication? This is our meditation. I was also thinking about one line of our Gurudev where it's in one of the arti songs for Nitai Chaitanya Dev, and I don't remember the line, but he speaks about how the members of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, because another thing to consider is that our mission, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, it has some localization in some places, it exists at the building in some places, but it primarily, really, substantially, it exists as an ideal, right? So what does it really mean to be a member of this glorious mission of our Guru, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat? What does that actually mean? How can we really be like on the waiting list? How can we really, in a real way, approach this divine, entity? So in one of our Gurudev's compositions, he mentions how the members of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, that they are serving with, he uses this word antarman, means like with this internal, introspective mood, a mood of introspection. So we are here and we are engaging our body in different seva, different services here. But internally we want to meditate, what are the teachings of our gurus, what is really the purpose of such a place, and how can I move towards that ideal in deeper and deeper ways. I think I'll stop there. Again, my gratitude for all of you allowing me to be here today. One other thing I wanted to mention, just a special appreciation, the devotees from East London who have a big shout out, devotees from East London. Because actually it's so beautiful. Yesterday, like a big group of the devotees from East London, they came to night before, so they could be here early to begin the preparations, the support. Toshan Prabhu is heading up the kitchen here, and Dayanidhi Prabhu is heading up the kirtan. So it's very sweet. It's very beautiful. It's a very nice example. And actually, when we were I just came from California, and Devashish Prabhu was also there. And one day, somebody a little cheekily asked Devashish Prabhu, so is there like some competition between the devotees in East London and West London? Do you guys have some fighting sometimes? And Devashish Prabhu, he happily reassured, no, we're all getting along very well, and we can confirm that, by this beautiful harmony that we see here today. So, Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Gurudev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.